The tragedy of Jeff Mwathi, an interior designer who allegedly fell to his death on February 22, 2023, from a downtown flat on the 10th floor, was updated by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, on Friday. The police suggested that there might have been a struggle before Mwathi was hauled outside and thrown from the apartment's rooftop or stairs in the 12-story building. Investigators suspect that Mwathi was murdered before being thrown off in order to conceal the crime and make it appear as though he committed suicide after ruling out suicide. Members of the public are still seeking answers about what happened, and here are some of the questions they want the DCI to answer regarding the murder of Jeff Mwathi. Courtesy of Ephraim Jenga. 1. If you go out for a night of clubbing and retreat to your house at 3:26 a.m. with fellow merrymakers, one would expect you spend the rest of the night at home. There would be no need to drop off some people home after just about an hour. It would have made more sense for those people to have left the club and gone to their homes. It is obvious to all that the splitting of the suspects was meant to create an alibi, make arrangements for body disposal and compromise the investigations. 2. Even if there was a need to drop people home, how come Jeff was not among those to be dropped home? Yet he had informed his family that the DJ would drop him home. This means that at this point he was already dead. 3. Why did the DJ go to drop the 3 ladies home yet he has a driver who was left behind in the house? Why didn't the driver undertake this task as one would expect? 4. If the purpose of leaving with the girls was to drop them home, how come the DJ ended up staying away for over 3 hours? What happened during this time? How far were those people being dropped? What communication happened between him and those he left at the house during this time? How can this time be accounted for? 5. If Jeff died after the DJ left and there was no foul play, one would expect that he would have been the first to be called by those who were left behind in the house given it was his house. If it was a case of genuine suicide, the family would have been notified immediately and a report made to the police. That is what someone with nothing to hide would have done. Why spend the day telling lies to the family about the whereabouts of the victim? The family only knew of the death over 10 hours after the body was found. 6. When the DJ returned and found the body of Jeff lying on the ground, why be so cruel as to deny him the dignity of identification? This is the most painful aspect of this death. How would you fail to identify a person you had spent the previous day and night with yet he was still wearing the same clothes? Their hope was that the victim would be booked as unknown at the mortuary and thus his place of death wouldn't be known. But alas, the victim had notified his family of his whereabouts throughout the night. Besides, CCTV and phone location triangulation would have been an easy giveaway. 7. How did these people claim Jeff committed suicide yet go to the police station to report the case of a missing person? When the DJ's lawyer held a press conference, he tried to use the police report to absolve his client of involvement in the murder. I wonder if he understood how absurd he sounded. He was simply telling the world that the police report was made purely for the purpose of claiming innocence later. If a person disappears from your house, you don't go to the police first. You first try to find the person. Even when the family realized Jeff had not come home and his phone was off, they did not rush to the police to make a report. 8. The suicide theory is even more absurd when you ask yourself how 6 people could be unable to prevent someone from committing suicide by squeezing through a narrow window. If someone had threatened to commit suicide in your house, why would you leave the house? Furthermore, if for whatever reason the victim committed suicide and there was nothing to hide, then the suspects would have immediately reported the death to the authorities. 9. Who switched off Jeff's phone and why? This is a phone he had just used before his death, so we cannot assume it lost charge. 10. There is a video doing rounds online which shows the DJ and 2 ladies in the house. The 2 ladies appear to be in a state of total shock and distress. How can this be explained if the death happened after the ladies had left with the DJ? It seems obvious that the 6 suspects are all responsible for Jeff Mwathi's killing in some way. They are either involved in the murder, are accessory to the murder, or are covering up the murder, either by failing to report or by interfering with the evidence. The circumstantial evidence is very strong. And Kenyans are hoping justice will be served. See you in the next one, and don't forget to subscribe for more.